I will try to make a small introduction and start all the story, and then the microphone is yours. You're gonna be the star of the night. That's the idea.
The Gregory Peck of modern days.
Ok. Então, boa noite a todos. Aqui nós estamos a fazer uma gravação junto com o querido amigo a partir de Melbourne. Uma coisa curiosa, porque aqui é Shabbat, sábado à noite. Lá também é Shabbat, mas é de manhã. E a brincadeira do nosso amigo Guido, que é extremamente simpático, é de falar: Sami, eu estou sempre 14 horas mais velho que você. Very good. So now I'm resolving the same story introduction, telling that Mr. Guido Dessmann is very, very welcome. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to have you with us soon. You'll be published on the website called judoisdoegito.org for the Brazilian, and another one called juifdegypte.org for the people who prefer French or English or whatever it may be. So, le microfone est à vous. The microphone is yours. O microfone é seu, caro amigo Guido. E vamos conversar um pouquinho sobre as suas origens. A primeira pergunta mais básica é: de onde você veio do Egito e como você foi parar no Down Under, quer dizer, naquela terra de ponta para baixo.
Do canguru, terra
No
dos canguros.
Terra dos cangurus, além do que, on the British Empire, quer dizer, respect. So, God save the Queen. But not
God save the
exactly.
king.
The king, maybe. He's a little bit Ghalabawi. He's a little bit, comment dirais-je, قليل الأدب. But,
شوية بس فرنسا ما est parti et on doit s'abaisser lui.
on doit s'abaisser à lui, khalas. D'une autre façon, il ne paye pas les impôts. Alors, il a beaucoup de chance. You know, he's really, excuse me, the dirty word, he's fucking rich, you know. He has nothing to do. He just spent his money. Well, okay. So, on arrête un peu de raconter des bêtises. And
Okay.
be welcome. The microphone is yours, and the camera, and so on. Go ahead, my boy.
Okay, Sami, well, my story, like everybody else from Egypt, I was born in Egypt. My parents were born in Egypt, and my grandparents had migrated to Egypt. As for my background, my father was a Christian, and so am I. And we are Italians originally, but from the Austrian side times. We come from the northern part of Italy, Trieste, and we originally were German Austrians, but then with the war, Trieste became Italian and we became Italians. Now, my grandfather, great-grandfather had migrated to Egypt, and that's where the dynasty of the Dessmanns began. From my mother's side, well, my mother was a Jewess. Her father had come from Romania, and her mother had come from Corfu. She was a Corfiota, and they were part of the Corfiotis that were living in Egypt. So they were speaking the Corfiotto language, which was Venetian, very, very close to the Italian. So then what happened? My father got married, and he had two children. And then because of the war, the Second World War, he was interned in Fayed. And he was interned for 5 years in Fayed. And of course, because of the circumstances, when he came out of fired, his marriage and his family dissolved. As a result, he met my mother, who in those days was working at Magasin Anneau. My father was working at Magasin Anneau aussi. They met and they started a relationship. Of course, they had a lot of problem because of the religion and because at the time there was no divorce available for Catholics.
Let me interrupt you a second, please, just a second, because you are talking about Hanau. And I can remember, because I was not a kid, I was just almost on the age of my bar mitzvah. I can remember those, the company Hanau. Are they from Italian origin? Can you tell us something more about that? Because, you know, I interviewed also Sicurel. There were competitors or what?
Yes, well, Sicurel, the family side of my mother, like my uncle, her eldest brother, his name was Leon Segdan. And he was a manager at Sicurel. And through that connection, two of my mother's sisters met their husbands. One was Marco Noah, and the other one was Joseph Sachs. And they were both working at Sicurel.
Fantastic. Well, excuse me for that interruption, but it's also very interesting because it is something about our culture and root. And many people say that the retail market was kind of invented by the Jews, you know? Is it true?
Yes, true. So they worked at Sicurel until they left in 48 to migrate to Israel. And they went to Israel and established themselves there. As for my parents, well, they went through a lot of problems with the families because of the situation my father was in. Anyway, eventually my mother was stubborn and wanted to go through with a relationship. They married through the mahkama, through the civil rights, Egyptian civil rights.
Mahkama, mazbout, mahkama.
Mahkama, mazbout. Et comme ça. Enfin, there was no problems within the family. As far as the religion is concerned, I was brought up as a Catholic because of my father, but I grew up with my mother's family that loved me and doted over me. And with my father, we celebrated the Jewish festivities. They celebrated the Catholic festivities with us, and we had a perfect harmony. We had no problems at all as far as religion is concerned, either with the Muslims, with our Arab friends, our Arab neighbors, that I grew up with them as well. To be quite honest with you, Sami, when I left Egypt is when I became aware of the hate between people and the religions and their situations socially. I was not aware of that. I never grew up with hate in my heart. I never grew up being isolated from other people or other religions. Never of the sort. My mother used to come and pray with us in churches, and we used to go to the synagogues to celebrate the Shabbats and the festivities of Yom Kippur and so on. It was a beautiful relationship.
That's a beauty. That's a beauty. Lovely.
That's why today I am a man of peace. I have a lot of respect for other people, a lot of respect for other religions and other people's beliefs. As long as they respect mine, I respect theirs. I don't try to change their point of views. It's up to them by their experiences to know what's right or wrong. As long as we as human beings, we can get on good, and that is the main thing. Okay.
What do you think about that expression on the start of the prayers of the Islam when they say La ilaha illallah? And then
Yes.
we, as Jewish and from Arabic origins, sometimes we speak Arabic and we say MashaAllah, and say
MashaAllah.
Ismallah alaik, and all
Mala,
that stuff.
ربنا معاك.
Rabbina ma'ak and all
ربنا
that stuff.
يسمع. كل الحاجات دول. All these words we grew up with. And Sami, when you come to think and analyze the words, they are good words. God is one. God is not white or red or yellow or black. God is one. He made us different. But in all the religions, in what people say and what they believe, the sources lead you to God's. It's the messengers that are different. They're all messiahs. So whoever says it in that way, we say it in another, and the other says another. But the point of view is they're all words of peace, and the words of peace have to be respected. Do you
Mabruk
agree?
alaik. Absolutely, absolutely. We have exactly the same souls. Maybe you are similar in soul or whatever, who knows, but I'm very happy with this. I'm very, very, very proud of listening from
If
you.
only
This
people could see it this way,
principal stuff.
Sami, if only people could see it this way, there will be peace in the world. There will be no hate. There will be no wars. Like I said, when I get into discussions, not arguments, I like a discussion. We talk. My point of view, your point of view. We don't have to agree, but we are allowed to speak our mind. Now, with the Arab and Israeli conflicts, does anyone think that an Arab mother suffer less or more than a mother Jewish that have lost a son in the war? I don't think so. The pain is the same. And people cannot see that. That there should be peace in the world. We should try to live together, accept different points of view without interfering in each other's lives. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, Sami, and that's sad.